Hey guys, it's Todd from Like Minded Lunatics, bringing you, it's another drink, play, swear. Hey, it's all we do around here. I mean, besides reading ancient Mesopotamian epic poetry, it's all we've ever really done around here. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Like Minded Lunatics, and welcome back to Drink, Play, Swear. No, my friend, Like Minded Lunatics is not just Drink, Play, Swear. And you know this, it's also my buddy, Mark Gifford. Hey, he does the Monday video matchups. He just did a really good one with Ricky I'd like you to check out. Bang, up there. That was a fun one, looking at some electronic music from the 1970s, comparing a German band and a Japanese band. It was a good time, and I learned quite a lot. So check that out. And then also, bang, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button so we can see how big this family is getting. And it gets bigger every day thanks to you. All right, what is it that we do here at Drink, Play, Swear? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. We play a game, usually a classic one, pair it with a beverage, and I tell you a story. What are we playing today? Well, you just saw it, and you saw it on the card. Ultra Street Fighter 2, The Final Challengers. What? Another Street Fighter 2 game? This one came out in 2017. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with it. I know I played Street Fighter 2 Turbo in the past, and I try not to double up on games, play them again. But look at this one, it's beautiful. They drew it. It looks like a cartoon, and I appreciate that. Pairing it today with another thing I appreciate, that is a Jim Beam Coke. Get yourself something, friends. Delightful. Love a Capcom game. Love a Street Fighter game. Let's get into it. And here's one of the most exciting things about this new Ultra Street Fighter 2, The Final Challengers, is it's got all the characters that you know and love. They're redrawn. And you got two new ones. Look at this, Evil Ryu and Violent Ken, in addition to the Akuma and the Super Street Fighter 2 characters. I've never, you know me, if you know the channel, I've never cared for Ryu all that much. But Evil Ryu, it sounds exciting to me. Let's do some Evil Ryu and get into the story. All right, what are we getting into with the story today as I face Guile? My least favorite character from the series, by the way. I don't care for him much. I don't like the way he sounds. I don't like the way he looks. I'm gonna smoke this dude because I don't care for him too much. In terms of the story, what do we want to get into? Well, I want to start today by talking about a class I taught a few years ago, and then we'll get sort of to the point. Let me make sure I kick Guile's ass real quick. That's the last time that's going to happen, Guile. That was your freebie. All right. I want to talk about this class I taught, and then we'll get into kind of the bulk of the story in a minute. But shortly after I got out of grad school, I started teaching, and mainly I'm a writing professor, but mainly I teach like essay writing classes, okay? But I was invited to teach a World Lit course, and I was excited about that. And they had a specific curriculum at this university, and I told you, you didn't touch me that time. They had a specific curriculum at this university where you had to pull texts from certain time periods. So you had to have some ancient world stuff, you know, some stuff from at least a few hundred years ago, and then some modern stuff. You had to have different genres, so an epic poem and, you know, a novel and maybe a short story. And then you had to pull from all over the world. Couldn't just do North American stuff. Let's get some stuff from Africa. Let's get some stuff from the Middle East. Let's get some stuff from Russia or whatever. And so I tell you all of that because I decided in teaching this course to teach the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is a Mesopotamian epic poem from the ancient world. Not particularly of interest to me. It checked a lot of boxes, and so I thought, sure, let's start with it. It's old, it's from Mesopotamia, and it's an epic poem. Now, I already vowed I'm not going to lose to this guy, so I can't lose to this guy. Yeah. Makes me so happy to beat Guile. I could lose the rest of them and I'm fine. Beating Guile means something to me. As a kid, we called him Gully. I don't know, I had a cousin who called him Gully. So now I like to call him Gully as like, pejorative. Anyway. Let me pause it, get with you, get the story started, and have some of my beverage. So, the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's a story of the king of Mesopotamia, ancient king. He may or may not have existed, Gilgamesh, right? And he was not, in the story, he's not a particularly good king. He's sort of cruel and ultra-powerful. But he meets this guy named Enkidu, and Enkidu is like a half man, half beast, who was like raised out in the woods and stuff. But he's brought in, and Gilgamesh and Enkidu at first don't like each other. They challenge each other, and they fight. They fight right there in the town square or whatever. And they match each other. No one is a clear winner, and they end up being best friends as a result. They have respect for each other and best friends. They would go on in the story to go on many adventures together, and they become BFFs, the original BFFs, because Gilgamesh is probably like the oldest story we have in the human world, like older than the Bible and stuff, right? So Gilgamesh and Enkidu are best friends, and they go on all these adventures. Well, they go on to kill a bunch of monsters too, because in the ancient world there were monsters. And one monster they're after is Humbaba, and Humbaba's like this forest monster. So they go after this forest monster, and Gilgamesh wants to kick his ass because he wants to prove that they're the greatest team of all time, that they're the original Batman and Robin. And Enkidu's like, I don't know if this is a great idea, bro. And Gilgamesh is like, nah, we're fine. We're epic. We're unbeatable. We're undefeated. We're Mike Tyson before Holyfield. We're undefeated. And they go out there, and they do kill Humbaba, and they cut his head off, and they even like throw it at one of the gods, to flex on him, on her, that is. But Enkidu got hurt in the fight, you see, and he actually dies as a result of those injuries later. Well, Gilgamesh is destroyed by this because it's his best friend, and they also didn't have to get in this fight, you see, it wasn't necessary. And so now Gilgamesh not only misses his friend and is in anguish, but he has some guilt. Okay. So I'm reading this, and I had read it in college, but only, just quickly. But now here I am, I'm going to teach it, so I want to come at it with fresh eyes, and I want to try to find something interesting to say about it. So I read into some of the things that have been said about this piece, and I read, interestingly, that there was some lady in the 70s who said that she wrote in an academic journal that Gilgamesh and Enkidu were the first gay couple in literature. I thought, wow, that's interesting. That's what you want in a lit course, is to bring new perspectives and unexpected things and think about things in a new way. So I knew I was going to talk about that, but then I wanted to talk about some other things too, not just from one perspective. You want to talk about kind of many different perspectives. And so I read the translator's introduction, and that doesn't sound too interesting. Oh, the translator's introduction, what are you going to get from that? I expected to be a little bored, and I was not bored at all. In fact, I ended up balled up in tears as a result of reading this introduction. It's because in the introduction, the translator talks about how touched he was by the Epic of Gilgamesh and the relationship between Gilgamesh and Enkidu, and how torn up Gilgamesh is as a result of the death of Enkidu. Because in the second half of this epic, Gilgamesh goes on a quest to destroy death, to find eternal life, and he fails, but it's as a result of missing Enkidu, you see. And in the introduction, the translator talks about how he, when he was translating the epic, was dealing with the grief of a dead loved one, and how hard it is. And he talked about, and it was this phrase he used that brought me to tears. He said, the difficulty of the human re-entry after losing a loved one. Meaning, it's hard to go back to normal life after someone you care about dies. And that phrase, the human re-entry, struck me, because I had felt that about my own mom dying. And that's what I haven't sort of revealed in this story yet, is that the year before teaching this class, my mother had passed away when I was 29 years old. My mom died of gallbladder cancer, and it happened very quickly. From diagnosis to her passing was 6 months. And it was hard because she and I were very, very close. And I was a mama's boy when I was a little kid, and I was very much still a mama's boy into my 20s. And so it was hard. And I did have that difficulty of human re-entry that I was reading about from this translator. And my dad had it, that difficulty. He ultimately did not get past it. He was an old man when my mom passed away, and even though I went to lunch with him once a week, and my sister would go see him once a week, and my aunt would visit him often, but that's really the only people he had. And he was alone most of the time, and content to be alone, but not content to have a human re-entry. And I was really determined to have a re-entry. And so reading the Epic of Gilgamesh again, and reading that introduction, sort of fueled me to force myself to have a re-entry. And my wife would go on. My wife and I had just been married. My wife and I would go on to buy a house, have 2 kids, have careers we were happy with, and all of that. And so I did have a complete re-entry. So I guess that's the happy ending. But you know how happy endings go. They're not always complete. And so I have to tell you and be honest with you that my happy ending has not been complete. And that is that I have struggles to this day with my mom passing, things that I haven't gotten over. And talking with my wife recently about it, I realized how strong those feelings are still. I have some anger, and part of my re-entry into the world is fueled by outrage and fueled by anger that my mom and my dad died, but also that I felt like their love story ended in a way that they didn't deserve, that they deserved better, and that the world missed them so much. I was outraged that when my mom died, everyone just kept on going. That people were standing. I drove past the Subway. I remember driving past a Subway restaurant. People were still ordering their fucking cold cut sandwiches and picking between the lettuce and the spinach. Who gives a shit? She's gone. So many people are gone. And we're just gonna walk around buying fucking tennis shoes? I was outraged. And I felt like it was justifiable anger. And I've carried that for more than a decade. Justified anger. At what? God? The world? I don't know. Both? Talking with my wife recently, we were sort of uncovering this stuff. And she said, what are you so angry about? And I said, they deserved better. And she said, okay, you're right, but what is it worth to walk around so mad? And I said, because they deserve it. Because they need somebody to be mad for them. I felt like it was this weight that I was supposed to carry, see? Like Sisyphus going up the mountain. And my wife said, if your parents could be here right now, could see you, would they want you to be carrying that? I said, well, no. And she said, okay, is it making you happier to carry it? I said, no. She said, I know it's been important for you for a long time to sort of like carry the burden of the injustice of them dying. But I don't think they would have wanted that for you. I don't think it's helping you. Why don't you put it down for a little while? And that was very powerful. And so, I know I quit playing early. I get it. But today I wanted to get into the fact that we carry stuff. We carry anger. We carry resentment. We carry things from our past that we feel like are our duty. Burdens that we deserve. Or that the world, someone in the world needs to care about this, and if no one else is going to care, I will. And I'll soldier on with this heavy-ass backpack of resentment and anger. But when she said, maybe you could put it down, I was reminded of that moment when I read the Epic of Gilgamesh shortly after my mom passed. That human re-entry. And now I'm seeing, over a decade later, that maybe for the real re-entry to happen, I gotta put it down. And so, if you are carrying around some anger, some resentment, some burden, some garbage, because you feel like you did something wrong, or you weren't the best you could have been, or you were trying to pay homage or something to somebody, or maybe you got anger about somebody in your life you don't talk to anymore. Maybe you don't have to carry it. So I'll leave you with that today. Just consider it. Some of us feel the need to carry stuff. But how would it feel to set it down? How would it feel to move on? Re-entry after pain and loss is important. I'm no therapist. I'm not trained in such. But I know that when I heard my wife say that, and when I read that translator's words, it felt like truth. And so I hope it speaks true for you. I hope you're doing well. Hey, Ultra Street Fighter 2 is an epic game, and the Epic of Gilgamesh will be with me forever as a result of teaching it and being struck by its message. So, thanks for being with us. I got a lot of beverage here to finish, but you know me, I'll do it. I'm up to the task. It's half the reason I do this. In between now and the next time I talk to you, I am Todd. See ya.